Good morning to you as well, Cheryl. Markets seem to be giving up that, gains and declining even further as of now.
Yes, absolutely. The markets are actually in a weak footing in today's trading session, and we were weak from the word go. It's not that we even started on the positive footing, and that's because the global cues also we've got was pretty weak. The US also ended in the negative territory yesterday. This is on back of fears of an aggressive rate hike. Remember, the Fed funds futures are actually now penciling 25% chances that the Fed may go ahead and hike the rates by 100 basis points. They're already fully pricing in a 75 basis point rate hike, but yes, 25% are expecting a 100 basis point rate hike. So that kind of triggered a sell-off in the US markets as well. And today when we looked at Asia markets as well, they were all in the negative territory. And yes, our Indian markets as well has joined the league, but not falling as much as the Asian peers were falling. Taking a note of what is happening in the individual sectors, take a look at PSU Bank Index. That's the one that's at day's lowest point as of now. You saw a couple of banks actually buck overall market weakness. One of them was IndusInd Bank, that was trading higher by about 4%, but from there on, I believe it has also lost some ground. Apart from that, you also have to take a note on Hero MotoCorp. That's the one that's seeing a sharp knock in today's trading session. Hero MotoCorp is down, is actually down most in about 5 months in trade. It's down about 4% as we speak. There are a lot of other counters that you need to watch out for. Take a look at what is happening to the tire names. Yesterday, remember, they were the ones that were seeing sharp up move in trade. But on the whole, Vinny, yes, no doubt we are on a very weak footing today. But yeah, it's just initial day of initial trading session. So let's see and wait and watch what happens to the course of the day.
Absolutely, we will have to wait and watch what happens to the course of the day. But on BNSN, you do not have to wait and watch today. It's Friday, and Kunal Bothra is here with us for our segment of BNSN Pathshala. Kunal, last week we did talk about chart patterns. You said you will be explaining us more chart patterns. Last time was triangle chart pattern. Today is flag pattern. What is all this about? Take us through everything.
Thank you so much, Vinny, for that. So, there are numerous chart patterns, and that could probably, help us guide over the next few sessions of Pathshala. Today, what I've discussed is the bullish flag pattern. Now, flag patterns, what are flag patterns? Flag patterns are patterns which generally have three different types of trends. So, it enters into an upward trend, goes into a consolidation, and the end result is the stock or the asset class going back into an uptrending mode. Now, the prevailing trend continues for flag pattern, which means these are continuation patterns which we look out for. And the third and the most important part is that they are generally found at the beginning or at the middle part of the trend. They are not found at the fag end of a trend for any kind of a stock. So it depends on what time frame you are looking out for, and that could probably result into you trying to set up targets, whether it's the start of a fresh trend or whether you're into a middle of a strong uptrend. Now we'll set up few examples over here for the flag patterns. So the first one is Apollo Tyres. Now the stock has been buzzing quite strongly, but one of the major reasons for that is the breakout of this flag pattern. So as you can see, the stock went into a consolidation, went to an upward trend from 2020 lows, went into a multi-month consolidation. In fact, this was almost a 1.5 year of consolidation, and this is the breakout point which I've marked with the star. And look at this breakout point, post breakout point, the stock going into an upward trending mode. So this entire pattern is what we call as a bullish flag pattern. We look at two different set of examples, more on the short-term time frame charts. The next setup is on Titan. Now there are two setups over here. So first one is a very smaller kind of a flag pattern, again indicative that it's a start of a new trend which is emerging for Titan. So this was the first flag pattern which was formed, almost like a 100 point, 150 point pattern for Titan, and post that we've seen the stock moving up higher. This was a slightly bigger one where the consolidation was also quite steep, and the price action in terms of upward trend was also quite strong, and we've seen post resultant of that breakout above the 1600 mark, the stock moving up higher to almost 300 points further than that. And one of the most interesting chart patterns which is actually getting developed, and again a very similar kind of a chart pattern, is United Spirits. So as you can see, the stock getting into a strong uptrend, then a multi-month consolidation, in fact almost a consolidation for last 9-10 months for United Spirits, and the stock is on the verge of a breakout. So whether a star gets formed or not, that's something to watch out for in United Spirits.
Right, so that's very interesting. Today in BNSN Pathshala, you have Kunal that has actually have highlighted the flag patterns. And remember, this is the segment every Friday that we have especially for you if you want to learn how to analyze the markets based on technicals. And today, we've taught you about flag patterns with Kunal Bothra. But time for a break on this edition of Buy Now Sell Now. And when we come back, we'll come back with your favorite part of the show, and that is with your queries. So don't go anywhere.
Co-powered by OLX Autos. Only OLX Finance show that helps you achieve all your financial dreams.
This show gets you everything that you need to know about your money, how to earn more, invest smartly, and spend while getting the best bang for your buck.
From the perfect home to early retirement and everything in between.
Real estate, everyone knows, is an asset that Indians absolutely love, maybe even more than gold.
Join us every weekday at 5 p.m. on the ET Money Show. Investment made easy. Only on ET Now.
With each passing day, this market is becoming better, and with each passing day, this market is only telling you that if you've participated on every decline, you've actually made money.
ITC's credo is nation first, sab saath bade. I would like to live this philosophy in whatever business we do.
We continue to be very well diversified across product lines. The general health of the company continues to be very strong.
We are a publicly listed company. We have access to capital. We have great brands.
No, beautiful question. Yeah, I can tell you, we believe that we'll be able to reduce costs.
ET is one of my favorites in the world. I'm a fan.
This is a very insightful question that you asked, Nikunj, and almost seems like you were listening in on the deliberation the committee was doing. And you're absolutely right.
And if this cup of coffee is costing you 25 rupees right now, after 5 years, it may cost you 100 rupees. Predicting the market or predicting the short-term move in the market, well, that's always very easy. Predicting it right and making money, it's not impossible. It could be a challenge.
See, Nikunj, you're a very seasoned market observer, and therefore you may hit the nail on the head.
I think you have always kept the focus on the retail investor, and I think it's again a very apt, very good question.
Nikunj, first of all, thank you so much. You are one person I've always enjoyed interacting throughout last 15-20 years.
The problem on coming on your channel is that you already know everything. I just heard your introduction. And what can anybody add to that?
Stock markets is a numbers game, and it sometimes does come across as one-dimensional. But what people don't see is that these numbers, when strung together, tell a story.
There's no really black or white. It very much seems to be a work in progress
of triumphs and mistakes, greed and fear. And I bring you that story behind the numbers in action.
The personal finance show that helps you achieve all your financial dreams.
This show gets you everything that you need to know about your money, how to earn more, invest smartly, and spend while getting the best bang for your buck.
From the perfect home to early retirement and everything in between.
Real estate, everyone knows, is an asset that Indians absolutely love, maybe even more than gold.
Join us every weekday at 5 p.m. on the ET Money Show. Investment made easy. Only on ET Now.
With each passing day, this market is becoming better, and with each passing day, this market is only telling you that if you've participated on every decline, you've actually made money.
ITC's credo is nation first, sab saath bade. I would like to live this philosophy in whatever business we do.
We continue to be very well diversified across product lines. The general health of the company continues to be very strong.
We are a publicly listed company. We have access to capital. We have great brands.
Welcome back, and you're watching Buy Now Sell Now on ET Now. Before we start with your query segment, Kunal, I want to talk about the Sensex chart. Now, just in the last couple of days, we have seen a fall coming in for this one, more than 1,000 points. Now, how are you looking at the charts? Should we expect a decline coming in, or how are they going to be trending for the Sensex?
So there were two levels which I think we've been discussing on Sensex. 59,300 is the support and 60,700 is the resistance. And finally, after a lot of weight, the support has been broken. So 59,300 is a support which has been breached on the Sensex, and I'm assuming that if we close below this level today, that could probably indicate that we are now heading into a breakdown mode for the Sensex, and that's a time where traders should exhibit a lot of caution. So 59,300 remains to be a benchmark, and assuming if the Sensex closes below this level today, we could now be looking out for targets of 58,500 first and then 58,000 as well over the next couple of trading sessions.
All right, so that's the take coming in on Sensex and where it is likely headed on the charts. But let's get going with the query segment then. And we also have Ashish Maheshwari joining us this morning. A very good morning to you, Ashish. And also good morning to Kunal, because I know I missed greeting you this morning. This is the show, this is the segment that we get you all or get you answers of all the queries that you have related to stocks. So do write in to us. We are live on Twitter, Facebook, as well as on YouTube. Write in your name, the stock that you're asking the query on, whether you've purchased it or not. You can also write in to us on a WhatsApp number that will be flashing on the top of your screen very shortly. But let's get going with the queries then. And the first query that I have is coming in from Hemanta Datta. And he's saying that he has Deepak Nitrite, 20 shares at the price of 2,000 rupees per share. He wants to know, Ashish, whether it's a good long-term bet, and if so, what sort of target should he look at, or at what price should he look to add some more in his kitty? What's your take on Deepak Nitrite?
Yes, as far as specialty chemical companies are concerned, we are witnessing a good run-up there. And Deepak Nitrite is a stock which has come down drastically from 3,000 levels to almost now 2,165 levels, which I can see now on screen. This is a good stock to buy and, in fact, enter at this point of time also, because fundamentally nothing wrong with the company except one fire incident which had happened there. But the kind of capacity Deepak Nitrite is enjoying, that's India's number one. So my suggestion will be to remain invested here, and even stock can be added here. I am expecting a price target of 2,300 by Deepavali here.
Keeping an eye out on that for Deepak Nitrite. But Kunal, coming to you, the first query we have is coming in from KVG Reddy, who's from Hyderabad, and this one is on Wipro. They want a recommendation for 3 to 6 months. Should they hold, sell or average Wipro shares, which they've bought at around 680 rupees per share. This is 400 shares that they bought.
See, I think we should hold on to the stock. I understand that, and I think we've been reiterating this point time and again, that these IT stocks are getting into a correction first and then a time-wise correction second. So the time-wise correction has started off for many of these IT names, large cap ones specifically. But then I think quality names like Infi, TCS, Wipro, I think these are the stocks which I believe we should still continue to hold on to it from a long-term play. It's just that these stocks have gone through a correction as well as time-wise correction now. Maybe these stocks may take some bit of more time, maybe another couple of months of sideways price action for these stocks. So I would suggest to hold on. If possible, then look to average, assuming if Wipro corrects towards say 370 odd mark, that could be a very good point to try and average out the stock, because that could also mark a retracement of more than 50% from its previous major highs for Wipro.
All right. The next one is from KR Balan, and he's saying that he has stocks in textile sector, that is 500 shares of Vardhaman Textile, 500 of KPR Mills, but he's saying he's making loss on it. So does it make sense to move out of it and go to cement, banking and financial? What's your take, Kunal?
Well, I would suggest not to shift towards cement, at least as of now, because the run-up has been exceedingly high. From the other pack, I would believe financials and banking is something which you can still look out for. And I think we've time and again, I've specifically reiterated my views on the likes of IndusInd Bank, IDFC First Bank. I think they are classical stocks to look out for from a medium to long-term play. So I would be of the belief that if you're looking to shift to other spaces, not on cement, but I think looking out for banking and financials, IndusInd Bank, IDFC First Bank, and maybe even ICICI Bank, I think have to be your preferred bets in the list.
Okay. Ashish, good morning. And this query we have is coming in from Padma, who's a senior citizen. They're holding two shares. One is Sona BLV, 500 shares. The other one is 200 shares of Zensar Tech. Now, in both these companies, she's currently making a loss. Should she move to a public sector bank like a Bank of Maharashtra, or continue to hold these for the next 12 to 18 months? What's your suggestion here?
No, I suggest, first of all, Sona Comstar or Sona BLW, you can continue to remain invested because, again, this is an indirect play for EV companies because they are into the motors which are used in EV business. So once this bigger chunk of stake sale related issue was there, which is over already now. So in my view, you can slightly remain patient there, and you are going to see very good set of numbers coming from Sona Comstar. So my suggestion will be hold this stock for 6 months. Even you will able to get exit at a profit here. As far as Zensar is concerned, I think IT and mid-cap ITs are not flavor of the day at present. So I suggest you exit from this stock, and I suggest you to enter into Jack Corp Limited, which is available at 180. And as Mumbai Trans Harbour Link is about to get operational, so this is a company which will do well because they are holding 25% equity in a couple of SEZs in that vicinity. So this is the reason we have seen a very good run-up coming in Jack Corp stock in last 10-15 days, and this momentum will continue. My target for Jack Corp for next 6 months is 300 plus. So you will get better return and you will recover your losses.
All right. This one is coming from Maleshwar Kunal, and he wants to buy Vedanta and Tata Consumers at current price for the short term. Either one of them, what are your views? We've seen what is happening with Vedanta based on that clarification that came out from the management. According to you, either Vedanta or Tata Consumer, which one is a better bet to pick right now?
So I would go with Tata Consumers. I think it's a much better bet, and I think I've voiced my opinion earlier as well. The Tata Consumers around that 750-800 mark range could be a good range where you can look to accumulate. I think the stock is almost at that 800 mark for itself, touched the 50-day moving average. So you can start off, with acquiring the stock at current levels, and then assuming if the stock corrects towards 750 mark, you can look to average further. The only reason for not picking up Vedanta is because of the high beta nature of the stock price and the susceptibility of the stock in terms of news flow. So 2 days back, 3 days back, the stock was in some sort of a news flow oriented kind of an uptrend, but once that fizzled out, you've seen the stock correcting from 318, 320 levels to now sub the 300 mark. So the corrections and the swings are very, very sharp and wild for such kind of names, and that's the only reason for avoiding Vedanta. But Tata Consumers could be a more stable stock at current levels.
The next query, Ashish, this one is coming in on VA Tech Vabag, and Mr. Pandya is holding 1,000 shares of VA Tech Vabag since 2019. The average price at what they bought it was 340 rupees per share. Should they continue to hold this for the next 2-3 years? What's your view on this one?
Quite underperformer if you ask me. VA Tech Vabag stock, though they are into fancy sector of water treatment, etc., but they still things are not going in their direction as such. And we have seen from 375 stock is now down to almost 300 rupees. So even I'll suggest exit from this stock and like to go for a cement play instead, which is Nuvoco Vista. This is again a stock where 22 million ton cement capacity available at just 14,000 crore market cap. Vis-a-vis if you see Ambuja, where more than 1 lakh crore market cap company with installed capacity of just 30 million tons. So now time has come to look at this particular stock also. The stock is available at very decent price earning multiple, and from a high of 580 rupees, which it does, the stock is available is still near 400 rupees. So my suggestion will be to sell Wawag and buy Nuvoco.
All right. The next one is coming in from Hitanshu Shah, and he's asking about Go Fashion. So he got allotted with the shares at the IPO. Ashish, what's your take on Go Fashion? He wants to know whether he should continue to hold on to it or look to exit this one.
Yeah, again, post IPO, this is a stock which has not given, kind of the returns which were available at the listing point at the time of listing. But the only thing is, it is not going down. Also, it's quite steady. So my suggestion will be, instead of this, you look at Metro Brands, which is a good company, and like of late has given very good returns also, and kind of consumption theme which is building up in shoe sector, etc. So this company is going to be major beneficiary. So Go Fashion book gains is my advice.
Next query we have is coming in from Lavish from Indore, and this one is on Action Construction, Kunal. They are currently have 1,000 shares of Action Construction at 302 rupees per share. What's your one-year view coming in for this company?
So I think it looks attractive. I think the stock has also made a fresh lifetime high, if I'm not wrong, this month itself, up 17% or 17.5% so far. So it looks very attractive. The stock has found its momentum back again this month. So I believe that on the back of it, there could be a more stronger upside for Action Construction. And I think it's also one of the few stocks which has to be part of your mid-cap core portfolio, as well as a buy on dips strategy over here, because the stock has gone through multiple such kind of corrections, and every time the stock has managed to get into a corrective phase, it's managed to bounce back very, very strongly. So you have to look out for these kind of names as a part of your core mid-cap portfolio. I would suggest a buy at current levels, and on dips as well, you can look to accumulate.
All right, this next one that I have is coming in from Devi Das, and Devi Das has bought BSC at levels of 665 rupees per share. Kunal wants to know what sort of a target should he look at for this counter for the next 3 months.
I would suggest that you can continue to hold on to the stock price. I believe the previous major high for BSC was around the 975 or 1000 mark. I'm not sure whether it's hit that 4-digit mark or not, but then I think it looks quite attractive, and the stock is finding its mojo back again. So I would suggest to hold on to BSC Limited.
Okay. Ashish, this next query is coming in on Patanjali. Anup from Goa wants to know, they bought Patanjali Foods at 294 shares at 650 rupees per share. What should they be doing with this? Should they continue to hold or sell it?
Should continue to remain invested. In fact, any investor who is looking to make an entry into FMCG space, Patanjali is again a stock for you at 1370. Also, I am recommending buy, because I am expecting stock will be around 1700 by year end, because there's a big valuation gap again between Patanjali Food and Adani Wilmar Limited, and the way pricing power is in hand of companies like Patanjali Food, because not too many such distribution-oriented companies are there. So a lot of buying we have seen off late by domestic funds as well as FIs also coming in this stock. So you can continue to remain invested. And FMCG, if anybody else is looking for fresh entry, best bet is Patanjali Food.
This next one that I have is coming in from Satya. 1 second, before Satya, I have Dheeraj's query. Dheeraj is saying that he has Tejas Network 50 shares purchased at 457 rupees per share. He's saying currently he is seeing a huge profit on his holding, Kunal. So what should he do? Exit or add some more?
Well, I think he's sitting on very good profits over here. I think he bought at a good price as well for Tejas Network. The stock, I think, if I'm not wrong, is at an all-time high levels. Everything is working in favor of the stock price, unless there is a sharp reaction on the downside for the stock in terms of price or any kind of negative news flow. I don't see any reason why you should be looking out to book profits over here. So you can trade your stop loss, continue to hold on. because I believe that if this is a kind of a trend which the stock has exhibited in the last few months as well as over the last 2 years, if that's something to go by, then I believe that there should be more uptrend lined ahead for the stock over the near to medium term.
Ashish, this next query we have is coming in on United Spirits. So Neil G from Muscat wants to know if they can enter United Spirits at the current level for a period of around 3 to 4 years if their holding time is.
Yeah, I think if that much time horizon is in hand, then surely you can enter the stock at some correction, which is, I think, 850 rupees in my view. And this is again a stock where we haven't seen of late good movement along with the market, because from the highs of 1,000 rupees, stock is still languishing by 150 rupees. Besides other stocks like Redico, etc., has really done well. So 800 rupees should be an entry point for United Spirit, and hold it for 3 years. And can expect around 50% upside.
And on that note, we'll slip into a break on this edition of Buy Now Sell Now, but we will be continuing with the queries after the break, so viewers don't go anywhere and experts hang in there.
आग को फैलने से रोकना मुश्किल।
No, beautiful question. Yeah, I can tell you, we believe that we'll be able to reduce costs.
ET is one of my favorites in the world. I'm a fan.
This is a very insightful question that you're asking, Nikunj, and almost seems like you were listening in on the deliberation the committee was doing. And you're absolutely right.
And if this cup of coffee is costing you 25 rupees right now, after 5 years, it may cost you 100 rupees. Predicting the market or predicting the short-term move in the market, well, that's always very easy. Predicting it right and making money, it's not impossible. It could be a challenge.
See, Nikunj, you're a very seasoned market observer, and therefore you may hit the nail on the head.
I think you have always kept the focus on the retail investor, and I think it's again a very apt, very good question.
Nikunj, first of all, thank you so much. You are one person I've always enjoyed interacting throughout last 15-20 years.
You know, the problem on coming on your channel is that you already know everything. I just heard your introduction. And what can anybody add to that?
Stock markets is a numbers game, and it sometimes does come across as one-dimensional. But what people don't see is that these numbers, when strung together, tell a story. There's no really black or white. It very much seems to be a work in progress of triumphs and mistakes, greed and fear. And I bring you that story behind the numbers in action.
The personal finance show that helps you achieve all your financial dreams.
This show gets you everything that you need to know about your money, how to earn more, invest smartly, and spend while getting the best bang for your buck.
From the perfect home to early retirement and everything in between.
Real estate, everyone knows, is an asset that Indians absolutely love, maybe even more than gold.
Join us every weekday at 5 p.m. on the ET Money Show. Investment made easy. Only on ET Now.
With each passing day, this market is becoming better, and with each passing day, this market is only telling you that if you've participated on every decline, you've actually made money.
ITC's credo is nation first, sab saath bade. I would like to live this philosophy in whatever business we do.
We continue to be very well diversified across product lines. The general health of the company continues to be very strong.
We are a publicly listed company. We have access to capital. We have great brands.
No, beautiful question. Yeah, I can tell you, we believe that we'll be able to reduce costs.
ET is one of my favorites in the world. I'm a fan.
This is a very insightful question that you're asking, Nikunj, and almost seems like you were listening in on the deliberation the committee was doing. And you're absolutely right.
And if this cup of coffee is costing you 25 rupees right now, after 5 years, it may cost you 100 rupees. Predicting the market or predicting the short-term move in the market, well, that's always very easy. Predicting it right and making money, it's not impossible. It could be a challenge.
See, Nikunj, you are a very seasoned market observer, and therefore you.
Welcome back, and you're watching Buy Now Sell Now on ET Now. Let's keep it going then with all your stock related queries. Kunal, coming to you for the first one again, and this one is coming in from Bharat from Hyderabad. This one is on tin plate. They bought it at 317 rupees per share. What's your technical view on this one?
Well, I would believe that Intrade is now getting into a big breakout mode on the short-term charts. 200 DMA for the stock is just around that 335 mark. The stock is at 340 plus levels, which means it's confirming a breakout of its 200 moving average. That could probably be a signal that this stock would now be getting into a breakout mode for itself. So I think if you've already bought, I would suggest to hold on. If you're looking to buy, I think current price could be a good level where you can look to buy the stock.
All right, the next query that I have is coming in from Satya, and Satya has Infosys bought at 1,480 rupees per share. Kunal, he wants to know whether he can look to average at current market price or look for some more dip in this particular counter. His horizon is about 6 to 12 months.
See, the only concern for Infosys is the recent sell-off, and this week's sell-off, the stock is already down some 7.5% so far this week. And the last 3-4 days, it's lost some 10% or 12% from its previous swing highs. That's the only concern for a chart like Infosys, that the short-term trend could be on the downward side. So you'll have to wait out for a point where the selling pressure abates and the stock gets into a time-wise correction. Maybe another couple of weeks from here on, I believe Infosys could actually turn out to be a good contra buy. So possibly around the 1300 mark, 1350 mark could be a zone where you can look to buy the stock.
Ashish, we have Krish from Chennai who wants to know if they can buy Page Industries for a time frame of 3 years from now.
Yeah, surely. You can buy for 3 years time frame. Again, good retail and brand related story, and again the cotton prices are down, which are in fact beneficiary for them, and the kind of numbers which came in the last quarter was phenomenal, and I think same run rate they will continue. So 3 years, at least 30% upside from here you can safely assume per year basis.
Wants a fundamental view on HPL Electric and Power. Do you track this one by any chance, Ashish?
This is one of the most underperformer stock, and from the time of IPO came, the stock has never given any return to investor, and very languishing kind of play. HPL Electric. So my suggestion will be to remain with the leaders here, and I'll like to go with Polycab here, where I'm very bullish and I'm expecting 30% kind of CAGR growth will continue in Polycab going forward also. So HPL sale and Polycab buy is a strategy.
Kunal, this next one is on Power Grid September futures. Anjali from Nashik has bought Power Grid at 331 September futures. Should they continue to hold a book profit?
Well, I would be a bit iffy in holding Power Grid. I think it's a stock which is very, very slow moving. I've not seen the stock getting into any kind of a major breakout mode, at least on the longer term charts. it gets into a couple of days of rally, but then if you missed out and if you happen to buy the stock at a higher end, then you are left out with waiting for a longer period of time. So I generally don't like to trade in such kind of names. So I would suggest an avoid or an exit if you're already holding.
Okay, this one is from Vishnu. Vishnu had written to us yesterday and had promised him that I'll take his query today. It's on Daawat. He wants a view on Daawat. 3,000 shares at a price of 70 is what he's purchased. We also have another viewer on YouTube who's messaged us about Daawat. Kunal, what's your take on Daawat, that is LT Foods?
Well, yes, I think the stock had run up exceedingly high. There was some news flow which had come back on the negative side first in terms of rise. The stock had corrected from 105 to 90-95 levels, and then post the clarification, etc., the stock has come back towards the 105 plus levels. But then these are the kind of points where stocks generally form a short to medium term top. So if you already bought at 70 odd levels for Daawat and at current levels of 106 plus, I would suggest to book out profits.
Ashish, Satya wants to know your long-term view coming in on CDSL. Is it an attractive time to buy this one?
CDSL, right?
Yeah, CDSL.
Okay. So as far as this new demat stories which are hovering in the market will continue to remain, I think CDSL and BSE related stocks will continue to do well. But my suggestion will be, instead of depository, look at more broking related stocks which are direct play to Indian equity market. And here I like Angel One as a leader in this particular segment, and also ICICI Securities should be bought because I'm expecting excellent set of numbers coming quarter over quarter from these companies, at least for next 3 years, because the kind of retail stock trading revolution which has happened into India, they are one of the biggest beneficiaries. So choose that direct brokerage play instead of a demat account. So,
okay. Ashish, I'll club two of the queries that I've got. Both of them are on HDFC Life. One is from Manjunath, who wants to know whether it's a good time to buy HDFC Life for the long term. And the other one is coming in from Indumati, who already has HDFC Life, about 200 shares. And she's saying that the stock has not done anything for the last 3 years. So she's asking whether it's a good idea for her to look to switch out of HDFC Life and go to CDSL of any of the capex related counters. What's your take? Manjunath wants to know whether he should look at it right now, and Indu wants to know whether she should switch out of it because she's holding it for the last 3 years and doing nothing.
It will continue to do nothing for next 3 years also. So in my view, one of the most underperformer stock, and will continue to do that way only because the kind of momentum which was supposed to be there is not there as far as the premium growth, etc. is concerned. So they are facing tough competition from SBI Life and LIC now, along with the Max also. So now this is quite competitive industry per se. So I'm not very bullish as far as HDFC Life is concerned. Instead of this, I'll suggest a couple of stocks which you can look at or replace it. First is Majgaon Dockyard Limited is a stock which I'll recommend at 440 rupees with a price target of at least 800 rupees in next 1 year. Again, the trigger their profitability is going to be just double with every passing year. So 21 profit was 200, now 400. Now this year they'll do at least 800 crore kind of profit. So this is a stock to watch. Along with, if you want to be remain with a large cap, I'll suggest Indian Hotel as a stock which has potential to go 600 rupees in next 12 to 15 months, because the kind of profitability which will come from hotel sector, they are one of the biggest benefits. So you can pick either of these.
Okay. The next query is on HDFC Bank. Kunal, the viewer is holding HDFC Bank at levels of 1,530 rupees. What is the short-term target for this one? Should they continue to hold this? And if you say that book profit, then which other stock should they look at?
Well, I would suggest to hold on to the stock at least as of now, because it's just very recent that the stock has managed to show some signs of momentum for itself. But then keep a stop loss over here, because the stock tends to have a tendency that whenever the market gets into a corrective phase, HDFC Bank are the ones which tends to get into a sharper correction mode. So you have to have a stop loss over here in place. I think 1500-ish could be a good enough stop loss on futures for HDFC Bank, and if the stock assumingly closes below this level, say consecutively for 1 or 2 trading sessions, that could be a point where you can look to exit.
Also, the next one I've got is from Manish Raju, and he's holding about 2,250 shares of Tata Steel at a price of around 100 rupees per share, Kunal. And he's saying that this particular holding of his is consisting 15% of his portfolio. So he wants to know whether he should sell, reduce his holding, or hold on to it for the next 6 to 9 months.
Well, I would suggest to hold on to it, for some time. I'm not sure whether 6 to 9 months could be a good enough time frame, because the metal stocks and the metal sector is going through a bit of a transition. So I think purely in that regards, there could be a point where many of these metal names, they can remain sideways, and all of a sudden you might see some sudden momentum coming back into these stocks. So I'm not sure of when exactly the momentum would come back to a stock like Tata Steel, but just because of the pedigree of the stock price, the quality of the stock price in terms of price trends, etc., I would suggest a hold on Tata Steel.
Okay. Ashish, this next query we have is coming in on Reliance. They sold, the viewer has sold 5 shares of Reliance at 2,560 and bought Adani Enterprises at 2,600. What should they be doing now with Adani Enterprises? Continue to hold?
Continue to hold till 5,000.
That was a very short and a very quick answer coming in from Ashish. We didn't know whether Ashish has to say something more or no for Adani. All right. But let's go on with the next query then. And this one is coming in from Prem. And he wants a long-term view, and the view is for 10 years plus on Glenmark Life Sciences. What's your take on this one, Ashish? Recently listed counter, 10 years, do you think it's worth keeping in your kitty?
No, actually, instead of this, I'll suggest you go with a frontline stock like Sun Pharma or Cipla, because we have a decent history and the kind of growth momentum which is being witnessed by them compared to Glenmark Life Science, etc. I think for 10-year kind of perspective, you need to see any company which is so much scale, having scale and sustainability also, which I think Cipla and Sun Pharma has demonstrated. So go with either of these stock and value instead of Glenmark Life.
Kunal, we have a query coming in from your namesake Kunal Thakkar, who's from Mumbai. Wants to know if transformer rectifiers is a good time to buy this one for almost a 1-year time frame.
Well, yes, seems like, because I think the stock is heading towards a double bottom breakout. That's in technical parlance. We term it as an extremely bullish signal that the stock is getting into a turnaround mode. The volumes, the price appreciation this quarter so far for TRIL, I think is also very, very, very attractive. So I would suggest that you can look to buy. Not sure of the exact time frame whether you can keep it for 1 year, because the pattern lasts for almost 7 to 8 years, and that in technical parlance means that at least for the next 1 to 2 years is where the stock might get into a strong uptrend. So it's better that you extend your time frame slightly higher from 1 year to 2 years plus.
All right, and with that, let's kickstart with the rapid fire then. And the first up, Tripta Aluwalia wants a medium-term outlook on AB Capital. What's your take on this one, Ashish? Okay. Kunal, taking it to you then, AB Capital, what's your view on this one for the medium term?
I would be very bullish on the stocks. I would suggest to hold on.
Okay. Kunal, this next query we have is coming in on Paradeep Phosphate. Viewers holding, Sham is holding 1,050 shares. Should they continue to hold a book profit?
See, I think it's a recently listed name, so I would, not have a major view on the stock.
Okay, Jay Krishnan wants to know, he already has Gujarat Properties at 1,816 rupees per share. Makes sense to switch to Shobha or makes sense to average? What's your take on this one, Ashish?
First of all, Paradeep Phosphate is a stock which will be in 3 digits in next 1 year. So I thought I'll just reply that. And as far as Godrej Properties is concerned, it will be a good move to shift to Sobha and overall reality, which will give you better return.
Charmeen Sequeria, she's holding IRCTC at 689 rupees. Should they continue to hold, sell? Kunal?
I would suggest to book out profits if it's a very short-term oriented trade.
Okay, UPL or Sumitomo, which one is a better agrochemical stock to invest in the long term, Ashish?
UPL and UPL.
Praveen from Bangalore is asking Kunal whether they can exit IndusInd Bank. They bought it at 895 rupees.
Well, I'm in fact of an advocate, that the stock is poised for a much higher returns on the long-term chart. So if you're not in a hurry, you should definitely to hold.
All right, this one is from Rajesh. How about buying Tata Investment at current level, Kunal?
Avoid.
Next query is Girish Iyer, BHEL, holding it at 56.70 rupees per share. Ashish, should they continue to hold or exit?
I think exit at around 60 to 63 level.
All right, and with that, we come to the end of the rapid fire as well as query segment. Thank you so much, Kunal, as well as Ashish, for joining us on the show. Also, a big shout out to all of our viewers who, despite staying overseas, have made sure to tune into the show. We have some of them who've logged in from Warsaw, some of them from Paris. We have viewers who've also tuned in from Muscat and the Middle East as well. So thank you so much for tuning in. We'll be back on Monday with the query segment as well as Buy Now Sell Now. Thank you so much, Kunal and Ashish, once again. But for now, we slip into a break on this edition of Buy Now Sell Now. Stay tuned. More on the other side. Don't go anywhere.
Harsha Engineers
hit the nail on the head. I think you have always kept the focus on the retail investor, and I think it's again a very apt, very good question.
Nikunj, first of all, thank you so much. You are one person I've always enjoyed interacting throughout last 15-20 years.
You know, the problem on coming on your channel is that you already know everything. I just heard your introduction. And what can anybody add to that?
Stock markets is a numbers game, and it sometimes does come across as one-dimensional. But what people don't see is that these numbers, when strung together, tell a story. There's no really black or white. It very much seems to be a work in progress of triumphs and mistakes, greed and fear. And I bring you that story behind the numbers in action.
The personal finance show that helps you achieve all your financial dreams.
This show gets you everything that you need to know about your money, how to earn more, invest smartly, and spend while getting the best bang for your buck.
From the perfect home to early retirement and everything in between.
Real estate, everyone knows, is an asset that Indians absolutely love, maybe even more than gold.
Join us every weekday at 5 p.m. on the ET Money Show. Investment made easy. Only on ET Now.
With each passing day, this market is becoming better. And with each passing day, this market is only telling you that if you've participated on every decline, you've actually made money.
ITC's credo is nation first, sab saath bade. I would like to live this philosophy in whatever business we do.
We continue to be very well diversified across product lines. The general health of the company continues to be very strong.
We are a publicly listed company. We have access to capital. We have great brands.
No, beautiful question. Yeah, I can tell you, we believe that we'll be able to reduce costs.
ET is one of my favorites in the world. I'm a fan.
This is a very insightful question that you're asking, Nikunj, and almost seems like you were listening in on the deliberation the committee was doing. And you're absolutely right.
And if this cup of coffee is costing you 25 rupees right now, after 5 years, it may cost you 100 rupees. Predicting the market or predicting the short-term move in the market, well, that's always very easy. Predicting it right and making money, it's not impossible. It could be a challenge.
Nikunj, you are a very seasoned market observer, and therefore you may hit the nail on the head.
I think you have always kept the focus on the retail investor, and I think it's again a very apt, very good question.
Nikunj, first of all, thank you so much. You are one person I've always enjoyed interacting throughout last 15-20 years.
You know, the problem on coming on your channel is that you already know everything. I just heard your introduction. And what can anybody add to that?
Stock markets is a numbers game, and it sometimes does come across as one-dimensional. But what people don't see is that these numbers, when strung together, tell a story. There's no really black or white. It very much seems to be a work in progress of triumphs and mistakes, greed and fear. And I bring you that story behind the numbers in action.
The personal finance show that helps you achieve all your financial dreams.
This show gets you everything that you need to know about your money, how to earn more, invest smartly, and spend while getting the best bang for your buck.
All right, let's get you the news that will be flashing shortly on the bottom of your screen, and this is about Patanjali. Remember that we have that big press conference that is at 12 noon, that is, and what we are going to expect Patanjali to talk about is the fact that they're aiming to list 5 companies over the course of 5 years. They're going to float 5 IPOs over the course of the next 5 years. They're aiming to list Patanjali Edible Oil. They're aiming to list Patanjali Wellness, Patanjali FMCG, Patanjali Nutraceuticals, as well as Patanjali Education. So we will have that press conference very shortly where you will have Baba Ramdev actually talk about the future growth plan of Patanjali. And Vinny, you track this particular sector and the stock very closely. What exactly should we expect when they're coming? We know that they're going to list 5 companies over the next 5 years. They're aiming to increase the market share as well, or market cap, based on these listings.
Absolutely.
So what else can you share with us?
So in terms of that, when you look at it in terms of what they're saying is they will be listing other companies like, Patanjali Wellness, Patanjali Ayurveda, Patanjali Lifestyle, which are the names which are coming out as of now. And what their vision is to give 5 major priorities to this. And, they are aiming at a goal of the group company's total market cap to be at somewhere 5 lakh crores going forward as well. So that is one that is going to be interesting to watch out for as well. And Samir is standing by to give us more details on this. He's gone through the press release as well. Samir, what's the update coming in? What more are you understanding on this one?
So very shortly, Yoguru Ramdev will be addressing the media, and basically Patanjali will be laying down the 5-year roadmap as well as the 5 big targets or the 5 big goals that Patanjali has. And their target is to list 5 companies in the coming 5 years. The 5 verticals where they will be listing their companies. The first one is Patanjali Edible Oils. The second one is going to be the Patanjali Wellness. The third one is going to be Patanjali Nutraceuticals. Patanjali will also be focusing on education that will also have yoga as one of the streams where teaching will be imparted. And along with this, Patanjali will also come up with a new company in the FMCG sector that will be having a Sattvic focus area. So these are the 5 verticals where Patanjali will be floating its IPO. And Patanjali is looking at to raise 5 lakh crore of market value with these 5 IPOs in the next 5 years. So the basis that Patanjali has calculated the market value as well as the listing of these 5 companies is the demand in the market. The edible oil, majorly it is imported. Around 80 to 90% edible oil is imported. And that is the reason that Patanjali is looking for a massive plantation drive in over 15 lakh acres of land. 55 districts, 11 states they have identified. And with this plantation drive, they aim to raise the market value of their Patanjali edible oil. Along with this Patanjali Wellness, through this they want to come up with the Ayurvedic wellness cream, and a couple of related articles. The education is yet another area where Patanjali is saying that they will promote the Swadeshi culture and the yoga teaching. So with these 3 things, Patanjali has set a roadmap for itself over the period of next 5 years. 5 IPOs are going to be listed. That is what Patanjali Group has targeted. But currently, if you see the overall market value of Patanjali Group, it is somewhere close to 40,000 crore. And they want to raise it to beyond 1 lakh crore over the period of next 5 to 7 years. So that is what a big target Patanjali has set for itself. And shortly, Baba Ramdev will be briefing the media on the same.
Absolutely, Samir, and we will wait for more details on that particular front when we will have that press conference where you will have Baba Ramdev address the media and talk about the growth plans for the company over the next 5 years. So that is the one that we are actually picking up right now. Some details just before we can actually head into that press conference.
Absolutely. But with that, we're absolutely out of time on this edition of Buy Now, Sell Now. It's a goodbye from me. Cheryl is going to be waiting back for markets at noon, so take it forward.
From the perfect home to early retirement and everything in between.
Real estate, everyone knows, is an asset that Indians absolutely love, maybe even more than gold.
Join us every weekday at 5 p.m. on the ET Money Show. Investment made easy. Only on ET Now.
With each passing day, this market is becoming better, and with each passing day, this market is only telling you that if you've participated on every decline, you've actually made money.
ITC's credo is nation first, sab saath bade. I would like to live this philosophy in whatever business we do.
We continue to be very well diversified across product lines.